Hello, all my friends. Welcome back to the channel. Merry Christmas. Yes, I am recording this video on Christmas Day. I'm wearing my Christmas gown that I made, and I'm going to tell you about that in a moment. And I also am wearing my winter berry head crown that I made as well. Stay tuned, and I will go ahead and make sure that I link a video to how to make this crown in this video as well. All right, so this video is about my Christmas collaboration with the beautiful Emily of SoCal Socialite here on YouTube as well as on Instagram. I will make sure that I put all of her information in the description box below. Make sure you check her out. Please check her channel out. She is a wonderful seamstress and an amazing individual. So make sure you check her out. All right, so we did a video like this before, and I'll put a link to that video here in this video. And the first collaboration that Emily and I did was of a woven to knit. Now, this collaboration that we did was the McCall's, I can't remember the pattern number, but I'll make sure that I put it here in the video as well as put the link in the video as well. So those are the important things to know. And that video, basically, I talked about the garment that I made with that pattern, and it was a woven. And then Emily used the same pattern, but she did a knit. So this time we decided to use this woven pattern. It's an easy pattern as well, and we both decided to make knit garments with this. Now in the future, I think we might do the opposite as well. We did talk about this, and I think that we're going to also include a video on how to go from knit to woven. Now in the video that we did before, we discussed a little bit about how you can achieve this, and we shared resources on how you can learn how to achieve this as well. And some of those resources were from Melly Sews, as well as Sew Altered Style, and also I think it was Seamwork Magazine. I can't remember, but I'll put all that information in the description box below, where you can go to find our link on the video, as well as the resources you can go to learn how to convert, from woven to knit and from knit to woven. So I won't go into too much details on how to do that today, but I will provide the resources for you to be able to learn how to do it. So the pattern that we decided to make is the McCall's 7530, which is a really simple pullover dress. It was designed for woven fabrics, but because it is a pullover dress, it is so simple and easy that you can definitely use a knit fabric with this. The suggested fabrics on the back of the envelope are shears, double-edged scalloped lace fabrics, cotton blends, challis, and sateen. Now, these are all structured woven fabrics, non-scratch woven fabrics. So I decided that I wanted to try it with a fabric that had a little bit of stretch. Now, this fabric is a lace fabric that I purchased from Hobby Lobby. The underlining is a simple, lightweight tri-cotton knit fabric that I purchased from Joann Fabrics. Now, the lightweight tri-cot fabric is a little bit more, it has more stretch than this lace overlay. And the lace overlay, I wanted to have something that was not too stretchy. So not anything like a rayon or ITY or anything like that. I wanted something that had a little bit more structure so that it could be as close to the woven, non-stretch woven fabrics that they suggested on the back of the envelope. So again, this doesn't have a ton of scratch. I think it has maybe 25%, maybe 35% scratch on the cross grain. Not anything, you know, major. There are a few things that I did to my garments. I altered it just a little bit, but not much, because I wanted to make sure that I kept the style of the garment the same and without doing too many adjustments. That way you can see that it works without adjustments. The things that I adjusted were simple things like adding a cuff to my sleeve, which really didn't affect, you know, the size or anything like that. In terms of sizing, I went with the size 12, and I believe that's a size 38 inches for the bust. The reason why I went with that measurement, so my bust is 38 inches. The reason why I went with that measurement is because I did want to have a little bit of room for error, just in case the fabric didn't give enough scratch and recovery as I had hoped that it would. And turns out I still could have went down the size. So generally, when you're thinking about going from using a woven pattern for knit fabrics, you generally have anywhere from 3 inches to maybe 5 inches of ease that you can work with, that you can take out of the garment. So it's just something to keep in mind. And also, but you really need to make sure that you read those finished measurements on the tissue paper, as well as taking a measuring tape and measuring the tissue paper, as well as taking into account your seam allowance and any room for ease as well. So I did all those things to make sure that I could get that I could achieve this look without having to risk making a mistake. So in terms of like ease, I believe I took out 4 inches of ease for the bust, and maybe 3 or 4 inches of ease for the waist. But I didn't do a whole lot in terms of, you know, I didn't take out any more than that. It was really simple, really easy. The dress is elasticated, so it's a pullover elasticated dress, and the elastic goes around the entire waistline. I did not have to alter the waistline, which I was really surprised by, because the skirt I did have to alter. It was very, very long, so I had to take off about 5 inches, which was really good for me because I only purchased 2.5 yards of this fabric. And the dress, for dress A, oh, did I tell you the variation that I did? I did view B, which is the lace overlay here, but I did the length of view A, which is the very long dress, and then I did the sleeves of view D, and I added a cuff to that view, because the length of the sleeve, it actually falls above your wrist, and I wanted to have a little bit more length, so I added a cuff. And that was just a matter of measuring the circumference of the sleeve, the bottom of the sleeve, and, you know, cutting out a square piece of fabric for my cuff, doubling it in size and attaching it to the bottom of the sleeve and sewing it around the sleeve. And I made sure I included my 5/8 of an inch seam allowance as well. So what I wanted to say is, in terms of the alterations and adjustments, I had to take off the 5 inches for the length of the skirt, but I did not have to shorten the waist, which was really nice. And because I did that, I was able to save a lot of fabric, because dress A, because it's really long, it calls for 2 5/8 yards of fabric on a 60-inch wide. On a 45-inch wide fabric is 3 3/4 inch of 3 3/3 yards of fabric. And so it's quite a bit of fabric if you're going with the 45-inch wide fabric, but for the 60-inch wide fabric, it's a reasonable amount of fabric. However, I would not have been able to do my sleeves if I did not take off so many inches off my dress. So that's just something to keep in mind for those of you out there who are watching this video and learning for the first time, you know, how many yards and things like that it would take to make this dress. So like I said, I made the very long dress, long sleeves, and it took me about 2.5 yards of fabric because that's what I purchased. And I used all of it except for, you know, little scraps that you get from cutting around the fabric, but I didn't have anything left in length. So it's pretty true to how many yards you would need. In terms of notions, the only thing that you would need is 1 1/4 yards of a quarter inch wide elastic. And that's basically it. And then fusible interfacing. Now for the neckline, I want to talk about that just for a moment, because when you are working with a knit garment, generally with commercial patterns, they don't come with interfacing. So you don't have a front and a back interfacing, because usually that's something that you would use for woven non-stretch garments. So that was something that I was concerned about just a little bit going into the project, not knowing what I was going to do with my neckline, if I wanted to add a neckband, or if I wanted to go ahead and take my neckline and flip it inwards and then stitch it down. Well, I decided that I was going to go ahead and keep the facings, but use a very structured knit. So I used a Ponte knit, and the knit was pretty, like I said, pretty structured, and it offered the stability that I needed, but also giving me a little bit of stretch so that my neckline could also stretch and also stay in place at the same time. So that's what I used for the neckline to stay in place. But next time I probably would just go ahead and flip it in and stitch it down. Now, in terms of using this on a rayon or an ITY or jersey or anything like that, using an interfacing on those types of materials is going to be very complicated, and it probably won't turn out very well. So that's one of the reasons why I decided to just go ahead and use the Ponte knit, because it offers that sturdiness, that stability that one would need for a neckline if you're going to be using interfacing. So that's one of the reasons why I chose the Ponte knit. That's pretty much my experience with this. I had fun. It's, like I said, it's rated for beginners because it's a learn to sew pattern. If you want to use this and go from the woven to knit option, it's very doable. And like I said, my knit is only like a 25 to 35% stretch on the cross grain, and it works well with it, very well. I don't know if I would recommend something that has more than 50 or 60% stretch, because if you do, you will have to make more adjustments. Anyway, so those are my thoughts on it. Emily made a wonderful outfit, and I will make sure that I put pictures of her garment throughout the video. By now you have seen pictures of my garment as well, and all its glory. And Emily did just amazing work. And please, again, go over to her channel and check her out, and make sure that you check out what she has to say and what her experience was like with this as well. So yeah, I had fun with this. Would I make this pattern again? Most definitely. Like I said, it's an easy pattern, and that's one of the reasons why I would make it. And in fact, I have plans to make another one next week for my daughter, because she loved this dress so much that she wants me to make her one as well. So that's what I'm going to do. I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but the elastic is it falls right at my natural waistline, and I really love that about this. I did not have to do any alterations in terms of in the torso area, which generally sometimes I have to raise that up just, you know, an inch or two, because it's usually pretty low. But I didn't have to do that with this dress, which I really loved. As far as with the sleeves, I didn't have to do a bicep adjustment. Yes, I am so happy about that. I did not have to do a bicep adjustment. So that was also a plus for me. And oh, for the sleeves, it did not have, like, it doesn't show a lace option for the long sleeves. So what I did, I wanted to have a little bit of an underlining for my sleeves. Like, I didn't want it to be fully lined all the way throughout the whole sleeve of view D, but I also wanted to have just like a small cap, like of a lining. So that's basically what I did. I'll get up so I can show you here. So my lining falls right here, if you can see that. So it has a little bit of a length for the cap, and then the rest of it is just all lace at the bottom. And then, as I mentioned before, I made a cuff to go with it on the bottom of the sleeve there. So yes, it's an amazing pattern, very easy for beginners. The sizing for it comes, so the first envelope is A5, and that's the 6 to 14, and then the second envelope is the F5, I believe, and that one goes from 14 to 22. So those are the sizes that you have, and it is a wonderful pattern for beginners, as I mentioned so many times. All right, so my headpiece, let me tell you a little bit about that, and I will give you all a video. I'll upload a video here on my channel on how I made this as well. This is my winter berry headpiece that I made to go with this outfit. It is very simple, very easy. You only need a handful of objects to create this look, and I will show you how I created this wonderful headpiece here in a moment. So stay tuned for that video. If I get that video completed and done, you know, uploaded before this video, I'll make sure that I link it in this video here. Thank you for coming and stopping by to the channel, for supporting me. If you have made this pattern before, you know what I'm going to say. Leave me your thoughts in the comments section below. If you have plans to make this pattern, leave me your comments in the comment section below. If for some reason I have sparked your interest and you want to make this pattern, tell me your thoughts in the comment section below, and tell me exactly what you would do with this pattern and how you would create your look. All right, so it has been fun, everyone. The new year is coming, and I have some exciting things that I want to share with you all. Make sure that you stay tuned and stay in tune to the channel so that you will know what is going on and what I plan to do for 2020. All right, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning into the channel, for lending me your time, for always supporting me, and thank you so much for all the love. And I hope you all have a wonderful holiday. And until next time, stay creative, my friends.